Greetings everyone and welcome into the PECB webinar. My name is Gzim Zaneli and I am the Portfolio Marketing Manager for IT Security at PECB. Today we will discuss about the webinar topic, the difference between cybersecurity and information security. The webinar will be presented by Mr. Hafiz Adnan, who is an IT GRC, Security Consultant and Lead Auditor, and also a PECB Certified Trainer with over 11 years of significant and progressive experience in information technology field, mainly focusing on information security, IT governance, ISO standards implementation and the compliance, IT service management, risk management, and auditing, software project management and process improvement. I wish you enjoy this webinar and hope you will find relevant facts and information. If you have any question, you can write them at any time in question box right-hand control panel, or you can use the option to raise your hand and you will talk directly to Mr. Adnan. Please, Hafiz, you may start with the presentation.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone. My name is Hafiz Adnan and the topic we are going to discuss today is one of the most significant topics that are being discussed today in the market, that is the difference between cybersecurity and information security. This is a brief introduction of me. Already I believe Kasim have introduced me, so but in case if you want to get in touch with me later on, you can please contact me. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, or I'll be happy to have discussions with you regarding information security, cybersecurity, risk management, IT service management, and on COVID frameworks. The reason I have selected this topic is that, as I said, this is one of the most important and being discussed topics today in the market today. Though information security and cybersecurity has been there for quite some time, and it's been there since people have felt the need to keep the information secure and private. There are different terms, different terminologies being used in the market, like computer security, network security, information security, IT security, cyber security. These are all the terms which are related to the protection and security of the information assets and information information in your companies. So, but there are certain differences. There are very thin lines between all these terms, and that is the reason I have chosen this topic to see what exactly is the difference between information security and cybersecurity. This is the agenda we'll be discussing today. We'll start with the basic concepts of information security and cybersecurity, and then we'll go into the details to see the difference between cybersecurity and information security. We'll see how we can protect the digital assets, because cybersecurity is more or less related to the digital assets and digital information. We'll see how cybersecurity actually evolve, and we'll see the importance of the cybersecurity. And if we find some time, we'll see how we can ensure that we can have the implementation of cybersecurity within the organization. Although we're not going to the details of the implementation of cybersecurity, because that needs a separate, maybe a webinar or session to discuss the implementation of cybersecurity, but we'll see how we can initiate the process to have cybersecurity in our companies. The basic concepts, as you can see, information security basically deals with all the kinds of information, regardless of the format. So it includes paper documents, your digital information, your intellectual property, which is in the minds of the people, verbal or visual communication. So all the kind of information, all the kind of assets which you have in your organization, information security deals with all those kinds of information and assets. I'm sure a lot of companies today have ISO 27001 in place, which talks exclusively about information security. So when you go to the implementation of information security, you see there are different controls which talk about the security of the information, security of the assets, security of the human resources. We have a domain which talks specifically for human resources, and then there are certain controls which talk about the physical security of your organization, like the controls you can implement in the data center, or the restricted areas which you can put in the organization. So information security is a broad term which talks about the information regardless of the format. Cybersecurity, on the other hand, it talks much about the protection of a digital asset. Digital assets like all the information which you have on the network, on the hardware, the information that is being processed, stored, or transported by inter-network information systems. So all the information which you have in your systems, in your databases, in your software, in your applications, cybersecurity talks about that information, and cybersecurity talks about the protection of that information and that asset. Additionally, concepts such as nation-state sponsored attacks, like we see a lot of cybersecurity attacks and hacking being done from state to state, from country to country, from different countries, that also is part of the cybersecurity. According to National Institute of Standards and Technology, information security basically is the protection of information and information systems from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction in order to provide CIA, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, as I said, information security covers the whole spectrum of the information. So, it covers your physical assets as well as your information assets. It covers the information which is on your papers as well as the information which is on the books as well as the information which is in your systems, on the hardware, software, databases, and in the applications. Cybersecurity basically deals, according to NIST, is the ability to protect or defend the use of cyberspace from cyber attacks. So it basically protects the information to save the information the information which is available on your digital in the digital format, the information which is on your software or in your databases. So cybersecurity is basically a subset of information security. Information security is a big spectrum, and under that you have the information which is in the form of digital assets is basically your cybersecurity. So anything involved security of information or information systems is your information security, and the information which is in the form of cyberspace or in the form of digital information is your cybersecurity. So from the basic concepts we have seen the difference, but as I said earlier that these terms are commonly used in the market. So people do get confused and they interchangeably use these terms, information security and cybersecurity. So the difference, where does the difference lie? Cybersecurity only refers to the information which is in the electronic security. Information security is a broader term, as we saw in the previous picture. Cybersecurity is about securing things that are vulnerable to ICT. So in the next few slides, I'll try to elaborate more how we can differentiate between information security and cybersecurity. We have seen the basic definitions, we have seen the basic difference, but in the next few slides, I'll try to use the diagrams to illustrate how we can differentiate between information security and cybersecurity. If you have any questions, you can just raise your hand and you can write down the questions, and I'll try to answer as much as I can at the end of this webinar. Okay, so the first picture which you see on your left, it contains all the information of the world. So there are two different, you can see balls. One is for representing information security, which has all the information, and then the other one is cybersecurity, which contains the information that could be vulnerable to ICT. So the left side of the picture, you can say that it contains all the information of the world. We can split this information into digital and non-digital information. In all our companies, we have certain information which is in the digital format, as well as there are information which is non-digital format. For example, you have applications and databases, the salaries of the people, which is in the digital format, but the records of the people, the employment, the recruitment documents, all these documents, although they need to be secured as well, and as per ISO 27001, we have to secure those documents. They are in non-digital format or in the paper format. So information security covers your digital information as well as the information which is in the non-digital format. We can say that this is the information that is secured, stored and transferred via ICT, and information that is not transferred or stored via ICT. There's still much that is not stored digitally, as I said, such as the old books, the handwritten notes, and the informations you have been given verbally. Okay. So on the information security side, you can divide the information into digital and analog. The cybersecurity information, as you can see, you have the information which is vulnerable to ICT, and this information even we can divide into two chunks. One, the information, the set of information that is vulnerable to ICT, like physically and digitally, and the set of information that is non-information and still vulnerable to ICT. For example, you have energy networks, you have medical appliances, you have cars, you have traffic lights. Now, these are the things which are other than information, okay, but still they could be vulnerable. You can, for example, hack the energy networks. You can somehow attack on the medical appliances. You can just attack on the medical appliances through the cyber attacks. You can attack on the traffic lights of any of the state or in a given particular area through the cyber attack. So there is information, and there is some information which there are certain sets which are not the information, but still they are covered in the cyber security. Now, these two set of information basically they overlap. As you can see, there is digital information which is coming from the information security, and then there is information coming from the cyber security, and they overlap, which basically is your ICT security. Okay. And this is the last picture where you can see that there is a clear difference between the information security and the cyber security. So you have information security, which covers your analog and digital information. There is cyber security, which again covers your digital information and the information which is the other set of appliances or other, you can say, the set of non-information things, as I mentioned, the medical appliances, your traffic lights, cars, and energy networks. And in the middle, you have the digital information, which is common between information security and cyber security, and actually this is called your ICT security, which is information and telecommunication communication technology security. So this is the main difference. The idea behind is that we should have a very clear concept as IT professionals and IT security professionals. We should have a very clear concept when we talk about information security, cyber security, network security. So we should have a very clear concept that and the difference between the two terminologies. So we should know what exactly we are going to talk, what exactly we are going to implement, and what exactly we are going to cover as part of the scope of the implementation. Are we going to have information security, and within that we are going to cover cyber security, or we are just going to focus on the cyber security and not the full information security part? So we have to be very clear on this. So the next is the question is as we saw in the previous slide, that our focus is on the digital information, and the question raises now how we have to protect this digital information or the digital assets. NIST, as I said, have identified 5 key functions necessary for the protection of digital assets, and basically they basically follow the same kind of model as we have for incident management methodologies in different frameworks in IT service management or information security, the ISMS framework. So NIST has also developed a same kind of model for the protection of digital assets. First is you have to identify the assets you are going to protect. Use organizational understanding to minimize risk to systems, assets, data, and capabilities. Protect, design the safeguards to limit the impact of potential events on critical services and infrastructure. Detect, implement activities to identify the occurrence of a cybersecurity event. Respond take appropriate action after learning of a security event, and recover, plan of the resilience and business continuity so that you can have a timely repair of compromised capabilities and services. So these are the 5 key functions or 5 key steps which we need to take in order to ensure the protection of digital assets. The next part is, the question is how cybersecurity evolved, because if you go back before 10 to 20 years ago, there was no major concept of cybersecurity, or especially in the way we have today, that every day we are listening that this company has been hacked, the amount of this much amount of user accounts have been compromised. Even yesterday there was a news about Yahoo that 1 billion accounts have been compromised. So how the cybersecurity evolved with the passage of time? As we saw that cybersecurity is part of information security, and information security basically talks about the 3 the 3 concepts. It revolves around the 3 concepts: your CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So what is confidentiality? Confidentiality is the protection of information from unauthorized access or disclosures. Different types of information requires different levels of confidentiality, and the need for confidentiality can change over time. Personal, financial, medical information require a high degree of confidentiality than the minutes of meeting of a normal staff meeting. So this is all about confidentiality. Integrity basically is the protection of information from unauthorized modification. For example, if a bank transfers like $10,000 to another financial institution, it is important that the amount does not change to 100,000 or 1,000 US dollars during the change. So this is all about integrity. Same is the concept applies to software and configurations. For example, any violation of integrity is significant because it may be the first step in a successful attack against a system availability on confidentiality. Next one is the availability. Availability basically ensures the timely and reliable access to the use of information and systems. This would include safeguards to make sure data are not accidentally or maliciously deleted. This is particularly important with a mission critical system because any interruptions in the availability can result in the loss of productivity and revenue. So information security moves around CIA, the CIA of your assets, CIA of your information, CIA of your information which is in the digital format or in the analog format. But there's one more thing which is part of the cybersecurity. Whenever we talk about this cybersecurity, there is one more important concept which is called the non-repudiation of non-repudiation. As I said, CIA are equally important, but in a digital context, non-repudiation refers to the concept that a message or other piece of information is genuine. It assures that the data integrity has been protected and that the party sending or receiving it cannot deny that they didn't send the information or they didn't receive the information. It is important in transactions that require trust, such as financial transactions and legal matters. Non-repudiation is implemented through transactional logs and digital signatures. So as I said, and as we saw in the earlier slides, your cybersecurity is basically part of the information security. Your information security talks about CIA. But when we talk about the cybersecurity, we also have to keep in mind another important concept, another important factor of the information, which is called the non-repudiation, which as you assure that the identities of the parties in a transaction, that the information is genuine and the party receiving or sending the information, they should not deny that they didn't receive or they didn't send the information. Why cybersecurity is important? As we say, as I said, and it's a very common saying. And I was reading yesterday in one of the journals on the internet that the Third World War, or in the future, the wars will be on the cyber attacks. Not the physical wars will not happen, but the wars will be on the cyber attacks and cyber, the cyber attacks will happen in the future in order to compromise the information of any country or to play with the finances of any other country. So why cybersecurity is important? Basically, it focuses on protecting your computers, your mobile devices, your networks, your applications, and data from unauthorized access. It gives you a policy that emphasizes the awareness of cybersecurity to all the employees, including the process instructing how to handle the cyber attacks. It prevents companies from hacking, phishing, denying of service attacks, etc. It ensures safer data processing. It ensures safety of online transactions and personal information exchanged over the internet. And most importantly, it facilitates secure and reliable collaboration that protects the privacy of individuals. So these are some of the bullet points regarding the importance of cybersecurity. There are a lot more importance of cybersecurity, and as an IT security professional, we have to ensure the data that we have in our companies, the data, even the individual data that we have on our mobile phones, on our devices, on our laptops, it is secure enough that it should not be attacked by some unknown person. So finally, I would like to say we have to keep in mind the key element of success is communication. Whenever we are going to have this framework, or whenever we are going to have some cybersecurity policies or procedures in place, we have to ensure the communication is very important. Communication between the leadership, by senior management, and with the employees. Most importantly, first evaluate the true status of the company before engaging in any cybersecurity program. Don't just open the doors to anyone and say, come and have implement the cybersecurity program. First, you as a professional and as a business person, you have to understand, do you really need the cybersecurity program? If yes, what are the factors? What is the domain of your business? What kind of business you are dealing with? Are you dealing a financial company? Then yes, you have to have a cybersecurity program. But if you are dealing as a small, medium-sized enterprise in which there are no major financial transactions are involved, maybe cybersecurity program is not a priority thing for you. So first evaluate the status of the company, then ensure your company covers the basic principles and standards in terms of information security, because cybersecurity is part of information security. And if your company, the people working in your company, if they don't have the mindset of the information security, try to engage them, try to give them the awareness, try to give them and highlight the benefits, the advantages of information security and cyber security. So they should get familiar with the changes which you are going to have in your company through the cybersecurity program. Involve your information security team, IT team, and the business to understand and determine the scope of the program. Don't just say that I want a cybersecurity program and you have no idea what exactly would be the scope of your cybersecurity program. So it's very important that all employees understand the importance of cybersecurity. When you ask people, they don't even know they are using modified web pages. So this is just example. You have to make sure whenever you speak to people, give them the awareness, let them understand what exactly is a cybersecurity, what are the different ways in which their information could be compromised, whether it's a digital their individual information or the information which is related to the organization. There are different programs which are offered by PECB. There are like ISO 27032, Lead Cybersecurity Manager, it's a 5-day course. Then there's a Lead Pen Test Professional, against a 5-day course, ISO 27034, Application Security Lead Implementer, ISO 27034, Application Security Lead Auditor, again it's a 5-day course. So there are different courses which are offered by PECB as an individual. So far, there is one ISO standard 27032 which talks about cybersecurity, but unlike ISO 27001, which you can implement across the organization, as such, there is no management information system for cybersecurity available by ISO. you can follow the guidelines of ISO 27032 to align your cybersecurity activities with ISO 27032, but at the organization level, you cannot go for the certification and accreditation. As an individual, you have different courses available which are offered by PECB, and you can enroll in any of them for your future career growth and to have more understanding about cybersecurity and lead implementer courses. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, I would like to answer them as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Hafiz, for your presentation. You also introduced our training and certification that we provide. I will just add a few more words. A PECB certificate will demonstrate your dedication in implementing and managing this process and the frameworks, and most importantly, you will be recognized worldwide. For more information, visit our website pecb.com on the training section. Now we'll go ahead with some of the questions that have arrived. The first one is, how can an organization ensure that the implementation of cybersecurity guidelines is aligning with ISMS?
See, I just mentioned that for information security, we have the ISMS, which is basically ISO 27001. There is one standard which is provided by ISO, which is 27032. From the certification and accreditation perspective, there's no as such management information system available. But what you can do is you can have the ISO 27032 manual review. You can just go through the guidelines and you can see how you can align your cybersecurity activities with the ISO 27032 activities. Now, coming to ISO 27001 and 27032, basically, as I said, a lot of activities will be common. There are a lot of activities, there are a lot of controls which are common between ISO 27001 and 27032. There are differences, obviously, because 27001 talks more, also talks about the physical security and the security which is not digital. 27032 is specifically for the digital information and the protection of digital information, but there are certain similarities. So if you have information security ISMS in your organization, you can definitely go through the align and you can ensure that the controls which you have in your organization as part of ISO 27001, how you can further improve further digital assets, and you can align with 27032. But as of now, and as per my information, as of today, there are no accreditation available on the organization level for ISO 27032.
Okay, the second question is, what framework do you suggest to use on the ISMS implementation?
See, the most commonly is ISO 27001, which is information security. This is worldwide available and it is published by ISO. So most of the companies are aligning with ISO 27001, the 2013 version. But even when it comes to the cybersecurity, as I said, you can make sure the alignment of the controls with ISO 27032. Within information security, again, when you talk about the risk assessment, you have a framework called ISO 31000, which is only for the risk management. So your ISMS as a whole could be a combination of different standards, but at the end of the day, when you go for certification and accreditation at the organization level, you will be getting only for ISO 27001, which is the information security management system. So I would suggest primarily use ISO 27001. When it comes to risk management, you can use bits and pieces of ISO 31000, which is risk management. When it comes to cybersecurity, you can align your controls of with ISO 27032, but at the end you will be getting the ISO 27001 certificate.
Okay, thank you, Hafiz, once again for sharing this highly informative presentation, and I also want to thank all the attendees for joining us live today. For your information, we will start the new webinar series on January 2017, and we will take care to inform you for all the upcomings. You can follow us through our website on pecb.com and also through our social networks. Until next webinar, we wish you have a nice time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.